Oh, come on, Mom, give it. That is our guest, somebody who is not a stranger to our shows. She's been here before. We started this live show with her, and it's been a while. But as always, we always tell our people you can't just come once and leave. So she is here now, and we thank God for today. She's going to do justice to our topic. Her name is Mrs. Salomey Adomako, who is a registered nurse and also a certified functional nutrition counselor. And since we are talking about our topic, as you can read, how dietary fats are killing you slowly, I think she is the best person to break down some of the things that we want to know for us. And so we want to give her a rousing welcome, Mrs. Salome Adomako. Come on, man, give it up. Yes. All right. Again, welcome to the Life and Health Show.
Thank you. I'm glad to be
Oh,
here.
thank you for making the time. I know you're a busy woman, and hopefully we'll have a good time together today because it's a conversation that every family, if not individuals, need to have concerning dietary fats and how they may be killing us slowly. Hopefully, we can learn a lot and avoid being killed by the diets that we eat. So, before we proceed with our questions, so just tell us a little bit, what is functional nutrition counseling? Maybe people may want to know, well, she's a registered nurse, but what is that FNC?
It says functional nutrition counselor is like we say function. We focus on how the body functions,
Hmm.
and that is what we do. And we use food and lifestyle changes to enhance the functioning of the body instead of we going just straight to medication when there is something wrong with someone. So that is what we do. So we work in conjunction with the doctors. We're not saying come off your medication, but do some lifestyle changes that will help to move you towards healing. And when you get to a better place, your doctor himself will take you off the meds. You don't need to go do take matters into your own hands. Yeah.
Wow, wow, wow. So that is good. That is a good thought for us to know what functional nutrition is. And so basically, we are going to just not just talk about conventional medicine stuff, how you should do stuff. So, if you are watching us, make sure you have an open mind because she can take us to an uncharted territory, places where you probably did not think about in terms of making sure that you are healthy, your heart healthy, your cholesterol levels are down, and stuff like that. So, with that being said, we'll move on to our question. First question for our lady, and let's see if I can project that right now. So, our first question is explain the difference. Maybe you can read it, or I just summarized it.
Okay. Can you explain the different type of dietary fats and how they impact our health? The different types.
Okay. So I know I watched some of the series before that you have started, and I know you've gone deep into all the cholesterol and stuff, and you're coming down, building on it. So when we talk about fat, fat is one of the macronutrients because you know when it comes to our foods, we do have macro that is big and micro that is the ones that we need in smaller quantities. So when it comes to the big nutrients that we need, we have carbohydrates, protein, and fat. So fat, most of the time when people hear fat, they think fat will make you fat. So they get scared of that. But not necessarily that fat makes you fat. So when it comes to fat, there are three main types of fat that
Mm,
is available. We have the one that is trans fat, we have saturated fat, and then we have unsaturated fat. And these three types of fat, all of them affect the body differently. In one of the videos that I watched, I know Dr. Otin touched on the trans fat, how it was made. And the issue with the trans fat is they take vegetable oils and it goes through a process called hydrogenation. That is just a big word for removing some of the hydrogen atoms from the oil so that the oil will solidify at room temperature. So when it becomes like that and they add it to foods, one, it enhances the taste. That's why
Mm-hmm.
you cannot just eat one cookie and stop eating. You eat
Mm-hmm.
more. You pick a cookie, you have to eat more because it tastes better.
Yeah.
And then it also gives the food a longer shelf life. That is why you see all these things in the shelf, in the store. Some of them could be there for years and nothing happens to it because of the addition of this trans fat. What happened with the trans fat is that as studies kept going on, they realized that trans fat was found to be carcinogenic. So in 2008, the FDA banned the use of trans fat in the products in the US. But when this ban went into place, they said that any food that was already made that contained the trans fat, they were going to let them sell it all the way up to 2021.
Okay.
And then the other part of it is if any food contains less than zero point 0.5 grams of trans fat, they would allow them to label it as zero trans fat. So that means the grams, then we're talking about 500 milligram. So if any food have trans fat with that amount, they will still label it as zero trans fat. So what is your take as a consumer? You will see that it will say, let's say popcorn or anything you say in the store, then it says zero trans fat. But your assignment is read the ingredient.
Mm.
If an ingredient have a name like hydrogenated oil, hydrogen, something that you cannot even pronounce, please put it back because that means there is trans fat in there. They are allowed to still sell it. You have to be the judge of your health. And then the reason why that trans fat is bad is carcinogenic and it will
Mm.
raise your cholesterol as we're talking about today. The other fat that we have is the saturated fat, which is why the fat that is found mostly in animal protein, the saturated fat. We have it normally is solid at room temperature. It comes in our beef, our lamb, our pork, the ones that we love. So it makes it taste good. So those have it in there. And then also it comes in the other oils like coconut oil, the palm oils and stuff. The issue with this saturated fat is before they were saying it was directly linked with high cholesterol.
Okay.
But as we were talking about before we came on the show, the studies keep going. It's still called the cholesterol myth. They realize that it's not like just that simple cut that is just you eat this and it makes your cholesterol go up. The problem with this kind of fat is the source, where it's coming from, the way that the animals are raised. That is what makes it more of a problem than anything. Because
Mm.
these days, the cows are not eating grass. When they are in the, like a factory raised, they are eating corn so that they could be so big, so they could get a lot of meat out of one cow. So when you're eating that cow, you're actually eating corn in reverse because that is what the cow ate. And as we know, the saying you are what you eat. If a cow eat corn, then it become a corn cow. It's not like a cow that ate grass that have the omega 3s. So if you want to enjoy saturated fat, I would say just know the source where it is coming from. If the animal is saying grass fed, that is what we want. It's more ate grass, so definitely they have some omega 3s in them that is going
Mm.
to be beneficial to your health. So when it comes to saturated fat, we say go moderation. Know the source of the beef or the lamb where it's coming from. And then the last fat that I want to touch briefly, then we move on. I know we would dig more deeper, is the mono unsaturated or unsaturated fats. And that one is big, unsaturated, and it comes to the mono and the poly. Why? Because of the chains of the fat. It's all big words, but this simple. Makes it more confusing.
Wow.
That's how we can make money. If we make it too easy, then there
That's
won't
what
be
I'm
no
saying.
money making.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
All right, all right, all right.
So I think
Follow up on it.
that leads to our next question. How do unsaturated fats differ from saturated and trans fats? So you've got delve into the saturated and the trans fats. So how does it differ from unsaturated fats?
So mostly the unsaturated fats, they are the healthy kind of fats. That is what we really want to focus and eat more of it. Because I know Dr. Ting and Dr. Gifty dealt into the benefits of these fats. And the simplest way I would say is that our bodies is made up of cells. And every single cell in your body, the cell layer is made up of these fats. If these fats you don't eat the correct ones, that means the exchange between the cell and outside world is not happening properly. So we want to concentrate, and if we are eating fat, we want to go for more of the unsaturated fat. That means these fats are normally liquid at room temperature. That is the most simplest way that you could explain them. So we look at our olive oils, our avocado oils, and then all the olives itself. Sometimes you can find fresh olives to buy in the store. Maybe more of like steamed in a can or package. And then also the sources from the nuts, the family like that. We get these are healthy fats that the body needs. And then when you break it down, that is what goes into your omega 3s. So we could also get it from the sources like your fishes and things like that. So that is the main difference here.
I see.
Okay. So with the differentiation, I think we can also include that the unsaturated fats increases the HDL, right?
Yes,
Yes.
And
because
the saturated and
because they
the
are the good
trans
ones.
fats increases the
The
LDL,
LDL.
which
Yeah.
is all parts of cholesterol. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Let's see if we have any questions. So, if you are joining us either now or later, don't forget to pop your questions and your comments because we will be going over them. Even if it's after the live show, we will be careful to answer them. Our Lady Salome will watch um, the comment section after the show. So even if you watch it after the live, which many people do, make sure your questions are asked whether on Facebook or YouTube, and we will be careful to answer them. So, what is our next question then?
Oh, I think you jumped.
Oh, I think I may have jumped one, right?
Number 3.
Number 3.
Okay.
Okay.
You want to
Okay,
read?
so I'll read number 3. Our question is: what role does dietary fats play in your cardiovascular health? Basically, what role does dietary fats play in whether or not you will get a heart attack or a stroke? So when we talk about fats in our diet, what do they do?
Okay. So what happened is when it comes to fats in our diet, like I mentioned before, for us, when depending on where the fat is coming from, if you get grass-fed beef and you're eating it with your veggies maybe once or twice a week, you're adding it to your overall healthy diet, you're good. If you're eating trans fat, which studies have proven that it contributes to higher levels of the bad cholesterol and is carcinogenic, then that means you are setting up yourself for cardiac event. And I know the last time Dr. Tunde also explained about how these atherosclerosis happens in the body, the process that it goes through. Because if you get that injury in the blood vessels, cholesterol come over as like a first aid. So they are coming there to serve as a band-aid to try to mend the problem. But even though the body is trying to mend it, what happens is it piles up calcium and everything adds onto it, then the road become narrow. And as we can all see, when there is an accident on the road and there are multiple cars, we see that the road get blocked, nobody could pass by. The same thing happens in our blood vessels. And then no blood could go through. So if you are eating so much trans fat, then you are setting yourself up for a cardiac event because it raises all other things. But then when it comes to the other fats, which is the saturated fat moderation. When it comes to the polyunsaturated, it's really good for the blood vessels, like your olive oils. If you're getting these from good sources, I know these days when we say good, it's really hard to find, you
Mhm.
know, where is good and where is bad. But at least once you are purchasing these items, like olive oil, read the bottle. Most of the time, they will tell you the dates when the olives were harvested. Look for those things on the bottles. That means at least it's fairly fresh as much as we can, because we know we live in the US. Most of these things are not harvested right here. So read those kind of things so that for as for the unsaturated fat, especially these polyunsaturated fat, they are healthy for your blood vessels because of the polyphenols. It makes your blood vessels really flexible. So that one have a positive effect on your cardiovascular health. But trans fat is a no-no. So definitely read your labels. Yeah.
Wow. All right. So we will move on to my fourth question then, right?
Yeah.
We will come to where it gets more practical. These are more scientific. So I know if you are watching this, a trans fat, unsaturated, what are they talking
Yeah.
about? We'll come down. We will come down. We just want to make sure that at least
Research.
we are doing it, the way that it's supposed to be. We'll talk about the scientific names and all that, and then we'll come back to real life issues. What kind of foods these things are in. All right. So with that being said, our next question is number four. You want to go ahead?
Are there specific dietary fats that individuals should be cautious about consuming regularly?
And if you have any examples, you can add it to. Yeah.
Okay. For me, the no-no is your seed oils. See? Seed oils. Because they will write it on the bottle. You see vegetable oil with carrot and some greens on the bottle in the front. You turn the bottle, then it says cotton seed oil. So then the question is, how come they are not putting cotton on the front? Because they
Mm,
all know that it's not very easy to get oil from a cotton seed. So when they put it right in the beginning, nobody will go for it. So these seed oils are so high in omega 6s, which promotes inflammation. You know, on this channel, we talk about systemic inflammation, which is the root cause of most of the chronic diseases that we're going on. Systemic inflammation is a big word, but what is it? Let's say you even get a little cut in your skin, the swelling, the redness and the pain that come to that site. This is acute inflammation. But when we talk about chronic, this same simple procedure that you're seeing on the finger when there is a cut happens in the body, but it's a low grade. So you're not going to get any, fever or nothing for you to know, but it goes on over time and it causes problems. So seed oils, if you eat them a lot, and that is what most of us eat because of the way that we cook our meals. Mostly, we have a lot of frying to do. So what I say is, what is the alternative? Thank God most of us live in the US where we have ovens. Please bake your chicken, instead of frying them. Yeah, chidi, it tastes good, but the bottom line is tasting good, and then your health. You want to go for health. You could bake it up so that you get most of the oil out of the chicken anyway, and then they also you are not adding more seed oil to it, but you're getting the real source of oil from the food. Also, what I would say is that apart from the seed oil, I remember the example that I gave with the your cells. That the cell membrane uses oils. So when you eat seed oils, instead of your cell membrane becoming flexible, they become rigid like an eggshell. And anything like an eggshell breaks easily. So that make you prone to a lot of health issues. So definitely seed oils are no. Cotton seed, sunflower seed, grape seed, a lot of them, corn oils, all of those oils, please, let's stay away from them. Why? Because it go through a lengthy process
mhm,
before they finish it. Because once they extract this oil from the cotton seed, it comes out is dirty. They have to polish it. They have
mhm,
to deodorize it, and then before it come on the shelf, It has gone through a lot of heating processes, and we also go by it and fry it on a higher level. So we are already destroying the oils that we are going to eat. So definitely we want to be cautious with that. Then when it comes to other oils that we are saying that we could bring it on board, coconut oil, I love to cook with coconut oil because it's natural source. The process is pretty simple. You could make your own coconut oil even at home. And this is what we used to eat first before in Ghana, before they brought all these fried toy and everything. That was what they ate. You see, and because most people, it doesn't taste good, it smells this. But at the end of the day, those are the good oils that you could use. So when you're deep frying, go for those. But seed oil, definitely, is a no no.
Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot.
But you said corn oil too is not good.
Corn oil is a seed oil.
It's a seed
See
oil.
the
Okay.
process. You see the processes, and like we're saying these days, thank God for YouTube. You could go on there and see how these oils are made. You'll be surprised the way they have to go through the processes to do it. And the reason why we use these oils are one, because they're cheaper, and two is because of the way we cook. Because we fry a lot, and frying makes us use most of this oil. If it's not the frying, most of us will not be using so much of it. Because when you're making a little bit of a stir fry, olive oil, a little bit of avocado oil, you be all set. But the way that we cook our meal, the deep frying, what is killing us. So definitely, yeah, we want to check that.
Wow, wow,
Okay.
wow. That is a lot of information. All right,
So
so
we mentioned examples. I
yeah,
think we mentioned few of
a
the
few examples. Yeah, so we
The
have
health
mentioned.
ones. So we
healthy
mentioned
ones.
Mhm,
coconut oil.
mhm.
Okay.
But and then I'm not telling viewers to go and these days some people are also drinking coconut in like with spoons. That's not what we are saying here. That because we say sometimes once somebody hear that something is good, they go to the
Good.
extreme.
Yes.
That is
Yes.
all they want to do. I believe because you see the body believes it likes variety. That is why even when it comes to the way you eat, you don't want to eat the same thing all the time. Once in a while, just bring in variety. Somebody will eat in the morning rice water, rice for work, fufu for dinner every single day, every day a week. Spice it up a little bit. Bring different things on board. I always say plantains, yams, cassavas, they are also resistant starches. They are also carbohydrate that we could replace it with the rice. Bring variety in. When you take your plantain to work and you've cut it up nicely with your sauce, nobody's going to tell you what are you eating. So we have to bring variety. The same way with the oils we're eating. Coconut. So I'm not just saying go for coconut oil and nothing else. Olive oil. When you're doing simple like stir fries, because olive oil you don't want to cook it at a really, really high temperature. You destroy it. Unless it says refined. If it's refined, then you could. But if it says extra virgin, you really don't want to go for high. You use it in your vinaigrette, mostly eating it in the raw state, not cooked. But I read an article too that said olive oil, a tablespoon of olive oil helps with the brain health every day,
Yeah.
especially people who have started to experience some like Alzheimer's kind of symptoms. Because the polyphenols, it helps. And the dry weight of the brain is more fat. So it helps with the brain health. So that olive oil, if you want to drink it, you could if it's extra virgin, that one you could. And then we also talk about avocado oil. That one too you could use. And there are other kinds of oils like your flaxseed oils. There are all different kinds of oils there that you could use. But definitely these three, those are the common ones that you could find. The olive oil, the coconut oil, and then our own palm oil. Growing up, we all know that we ate a lot of palm oil back home. The same thing, you could use it in addition to your cooking, but you don't want to do that all the time, but add it up. Palm kernel oil, we used to use that when we were frying. Ajongo.
Is
Ajungo.
that not a seed oil though?
That's a seed oil, right?
Palm kernel, because it's coming from because what's the easiest way to say it is anything that the way the extraction is easy. The way they do the palm kernel oil, I think they fry it and they grind it and it comes out very easily. It doesn't go through a lot of processes. That is why I have that funny smell.
Mhm.
So it's the processing That is what kind of messes up the other oils that we find on the shelf. Yeah.
I see.
Okay, with our palm oil, I know that somebody said that they add like pig fat to it in
Yeah.
order for it to stay longer and like fresher. So if I think that palm oil is okay and I'm buying it and it has a lot of trans fat in it, is
Boy.
it okay to eat that?
That
Because
is the
sometimes you keep
so
saying
what
you have to know the source, right? The source where it's
yes,
coming
the
from.
sauce. So you, let's say you go to the store and you purchase the palm oil and you made the soup and you take your own oil of it, then at least you know that it's legit.
Okay.
You see what I mean? It's really hard. I'm telling you, these days it's very hard to eat. That is why you really want to mess things up. At least you're not concentrating in eating one thing all the time because, especially if you're not sure where the sauce is coming from.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I used to see palm oil again as liquid all the time. Now you go to the shop and it's all caked up like butter, in the bottles. You see just a little portion of it being liquefied. The most of it is solid. So it becomes kind of like a trans fat almost. Actually it has some trans fats in there. Just
It
because
does.
it's a plant or oil doesn't mean it's not. So yeah, so I mean, I guess the caution is that, like you said, you shouldn't overdo it. Just a little bit. People think it's good and they basically
Um,
everything. No, that is not good because it's got some trans fats. Doing it all the time will hurt you on that. All right. Any other question?
Yeah, let's continue.
All right. So then we will move on to our next question, which I think is
Adulting,
practical
before you
tips.
go,
Yeah, go
before
ahead.
you, I want to say this for trans fat, even when it comes to like beef and lamb and stuff, they all have a little bit of trans fat in there. But what we are saying is these are trans fat that occur naturally. It has not been artificially made.
Okay.
So, once we eat them, we will get a little bit of trans fat, but that one, not to worry. But it's the ones that they have made, like Dr. Mike Herman will say, anytime they go messing up with stuff, then that is where the problem comes.
Yeah.
If everything is in the natural state, we are good. But when they go in and they try to mess up with things, trying to, make it in the artificial form, that is when the problem comes. So definitely the trans fat is there, but if it's in the natural source, we shouldn't worry so much about. But then we don't have to go for more in the artificial source.
Yeah.
All right.
So you're talking more about the hydrogenation, right? That's when
Yes.
they temper with the natural state.
Ah,
Right. Okay.
that's the problem.
Okay.
All right. All right, so we'll move on to the next one. The next point we want to discuss is practical tips. This is where we're going to go a little more practical. So, people who don't like science, now open your books and ask questions. Practical tips. You can read the full question so
Okay.
that.
So, what strategies and practical tips can you offer to help viewers incorporate more heart healthy fat into the daily meals? Because you're saying that some people will eat like rice water in the morning, rice in the afternoon, fufu at night. That's what they are used to.
Mm.
That's what they were brought up with. So, what are the practical ways that you can share with us so that we can consciously incorporate it in our daily life? Because it's easy. You have your rice cooker, your rice is always on fire, like it's hot. You just put it that, and you're ready to go. So, give us some practical tips that can help us.
So, I always say when it comes to healthy eating, you really, really, really want to prep or think ahead of time. It's not something that you could just say, oh, I feel like I want to eat and then you go eat. All the time you have to think about it and plan it. Like anything else that you really want to do. See? So the week, I would say your week starts from a Thursday or Friday when you go for groceries. So you're thinking next week, what kind of foods am I going to be eating? That is the grocery you go for this week.
Mm.
Because once you do that planning ahead of time, it helps you to be more conscious of what you're picking. So, one, you've planned, okay, Monday, I'm going to eat fufu in the evening. Let's say Tuesday, I'm going for yam and some stir fry. Thursday, I'm going for, let's say, some salad. Wednesday, I'm going for, let's say, some melon stir fry. Friday, I'm going to go for maybe fufu again. Or the weekend is when you eat most of your fufu and stuff. So what happened is when you go for groceries this week, with that in mind, you're going to buy things based on what you want to eat next week. And then when you come home, because we have busy lives, I say prepare the meals. How do you prep them? Like your cabbage, cut them up, put them in the fridge. Your carrots, your onions, you were able to cut everything up that you're going to be eating next week. And you'll be surprised that most of these vegetables will be able to stay in the fridge at least for about 5 days. Once you have it all lined up like that, when you come home and you want to make a quick stir fry, you could do that. So in the evening, what I normally would do is you could make your smoothies on the weekends for the whole week and put them in the freezer. Immediately you finish with a smoothie, you put them in the freezer. You could boil some eggs, put them in the fridge. And then in the morning, your 2 eggs, your smoothie, breakfast. In the evening before, you make a little stir fry for lunch.
Mm.
And then when you come back home, let's say you made your soup, then you just make your fufu and you're ready to eat. So you want to prep. I cannot stress on that. That is the number one work to help you stay healthy eating.
Those two.
Because it's the one planning and you will not follow it. That is the number one. And then after that, there are some foods that you could make in batch quantities, like the almond bread. Almond bread, you could make it when you have the time. You make it, you cut it up because you use 5 eggs in this recipe. So I cut it up into 5 pieces. So that means anytime you're eating, you're having an egg, because it's almond, it's not regular flour, so it's for you to bind up. You need that. You cut it up, you could freeze it. It could stays in the freezer for up to 3 months. When it's fresh, is when you freeze because you want it to continue to stay fresh. Thank God that the lights normally don't go off here. You cut it up, you freeze it, and then it's ready to go. So let's say you come home in the evening. Let's say you were not hungry from work, you did not eat, but then it's about 7 p.m. You're hungry. You could take an almond bread and an avocado with some tea, you're good to go. So once you have things like that, it's always easier to stay on top of your healthy eating. Almond bread, when you're making it, we put some olive oil in there.
Okay.
Stir fries is where the olive oils go in. When you have everything prep in the fridge, stir fry is made in less than 10 minutes. It's one of the
Before you go, can you tell us quickly what recipe you use for this almond bread? Because a lot
okay.
of people are stuck with white bread, and we told people last show that we should
Okay.
avoid white bread. How can you quickly make a almond bread like the one you're showing us now?
So this almond bread is 5 eggs, 2 1/4 of almond flour. Then you have a 1/4 cup of flax seeds in there, baking powder,
Mm.
and then you add it all together, you know, and then you bake it. The recipe is on Ezra Wellness. If you're really interested, we could link it in this video. Check it out and see how to make it. It's really easy. It's made out of almonds. And the other one that I brought to Elder is the coconut pancakes, coconut flour pancakes. That is really, really an easy recipe.
The other one.
So
So
this
this
one is
one?
a
No.
one.
Okay, so
Yeah,
must be this.
pancake. Yeah.
The coconut flour pancakes, because I know some people are really concerned about eating breakfast. And coconut flour, this one is just coconut flour, egg, and then a little bit of warm water and salt. That's it. It's only three things that I used in this recipe. Because the only thing is that coconut is really dense. So when you measure it, make sure that the cup is flat. If you want to make, let's say, about 6 pieces, you have to make it in mini pancakes because coconut flour is it's not stretchy like a regular flour. So when you make it, you have to be in smaller. If not, when you flip it, it's going to be all over the place. So you make it in mini pancake. If you're making it for one person, use 1 egg, and then you level the coconut flour, and then you were going to use 3 tablespoons of the coconut flour, 1 egg, mix it all together. You add a little bit of warm water to make sure that it makes like able to pour it out. And that is it. You put your salt in and then ready to fry it. That one have no carbs in it, like low carb, really, because it's coconut flour. And then your egg and stuff, you could add it to anything that you want to eat in the morning. If you want avocado tea, you add it into your smoothie. And this one too, you could freeze it. So that what I'm really trying to drive home here is the planning ahead, because
Mm.
that is the number one key. If you don't plan ahead, you will not stay on top of it. People ask me, Salome, you've been doing this. Next year will be the 5th year. I started this in 2019 and we're still going. You know what I mean? Because you want to put it in the front. Sometimes it really somebody will say, "Ah, Salome, oh boy, media way not for me. Mommy, fufu, we've been eating fufu since I know. I'm sorry."
But you can change the soup with fufu though.
That is the point. But the same thing with the stir fries.
Mhm.
Change the ingredients. You're
Yes.
tired of the cabbage stir fry, try the cauliflower. We
Mhm.
don't want to try something different because we don't want to go there. But I'm
Mm.
telling you, those things are even cheaper. These days, food is so expensive.
Yeah.
The veggies are cheaper and
Mhm.
healthier. So
Yes.
please, right. And
So
then the
what
last one I got
oil?
is the
Sorry.
one.
Sorry.
No, the
What
cabbage
oil
one.
do you what oil do you use to fry the pancake?
This one I use
Yes.
avocado
Olive
oil
oil.
spray for the pan.
Avocado
Avocado
oil
oil
spray.
spray. Okay.
That's it. Yes.
No margarine, no butter.
No, butter, you know what I say? If you get, like I was talking about the sauce,
Mhm.
if you get organic butter, you could bring butter on board a little bit if you're a butter person. Why am I talking about organic? You see, when it comes to fat, even as humans, when we gain weight, all the toxic in the body is in the fatty tissue. That is why people who gain weight and try to lose it really fast always run into trouble. Because when you lose weight too quickly, you release a lot of toxic in your bloodstream. So you give your body a lot of work to try to get rid of that toxic. Because the fat cells stores the toxic in the body. Because if everything is to go into our bloodstream, we'll be so sick. And we are fearfully and wonderfully made.
Mhm.
So now God stores these fats, the toxic in our fat cells. So anytime that you're losing weight, you want to go slow and easy so that your body is able to get rid of the toxic that is coming out a little bit at a time. The same way applied to the animals. Their fat is where the toxic is stored. So if you really want to go for butter and stuff, which is a fatty part of the animal, you really want to go for organic. Grass-fed organic is your best choice. So if you want to try to bring some on board, of course, the sauce is always the key. Yeah.
My goodness, that's deep. That is deep, man. By the time I leave here, a lot of recipes are going to start being on the fridge. My
We are in
goodness,
trouble.
she's in trouble. She's going to have to make them like that. All right, my goodness. All right. So now let's see. Do we have another
I
question
think
though?
that's
Yeah.
That
the
will be
practical.
the practicals. Okay.
Yeah.
So we talked. I think there was one more recipe, one more food item you showed us. Yes. What is this one, and what did you use to
This one
make
I made
this?
this recipe after I made the bread video. I know you talked about bread. I talked about bread, and it's like we're talking about bread here.
Hmm.
People love bread so much that they don't want to go without it. But I want to say this: growing back home, for me, there was not bread. The only time we ate bread was when Daddy went on a travel and he comes back. Then bread come with him. Once we are done eating that bread, until somebody travels, there is no bread in the house because we did not grow up baking bread. So I don't know about other viewers out there, or maybe you, Dr. Otin and Dr. Gifty, when you were growing up. So bread, unless you are dadaba, bread wasn't something that was on the table to be eaten every morning. So most of us we grew up not eating so much bread. But thank God for US, bread is everywhere. And the funny thing I will tell you is if you're really a bread person and you are doubting us, you purchase a bread from the store, eat a few of it, leave the rest in a bag, and leave it in your cabinet. See how long that bread will stay there without going mold. Even the molds and the bacteria don't like the bread they make in the factory.
The more don't like the bread. Oh
They
man.
will not eat it. They will not come sit on it because of the preservatives in the bread.
Mm.
I have some bread in my cabinet here. So I'm going to make videos on. It's been there for a year. I'm not kidding. There
Wow.
is no mold on
Wow.
it. So sometimes we say these things and some people will say, oh my goodness, you guys are buy it yourself. I love to do the experiment. Put it in your cabinet and see how long it takes for that bread to go mold. When you buy bread from the African store, it goes more in like a week because
Yeah.
they don't put a lot of these stuff on it. But when you go to like the regular grocery store and you purchase a bread, it will stay there forever. So what we are saying is, please, bread, let's cut back as much as we can. A lot of people are sensitive to gluten. They don't even know it. They eat it. It causes a lot of arthritis issues, leaky gut. People have so much problem. So this recipe here is made out of cabbage. So you use 2 cups of cabbage, some egg, and some coconut flour. So it comes out. My husband calls it pizza. It comes out like a
My
pizza.
goodness. I was about to say, how can cabbage look like this? Man. Well, keep going. Let's see.
So you make it and then you see you mess it up and then you put it in a frying pan. Then I cover it for about 5 minutes. Then once it's done, then you flip it. Then you put it back again and it comes out like that. So delicious, I'm telling you. I wish you were here. I would have like kinda, make one.
We'll make it. Trust me. She's going to make some.
Wow.
So, what are the ingredients again? You said cabbage. What else?
So
How do
this one, you see that I have red. I have some red and green cabbage mixed together. That's how normally I like
Okay.
my cabbage because of the antioxidants. When you get the red cabbage, get it. Like Auntie Gifty was saying, sometimes the green one now it can be too much. Mess it up a little bit. There is so much vegetables in the store. We are afraid to try. Please, just feel comfortable. Try it. So this have some red ones in there. I love that. I always have some. And then with the egg, 4 eggs because this will serve 2 people. So you
Okay.
add 4 eggs and then 2 tablespoons of coconut flour. I put onions and garlic, and we like pepper, so I add some cayenne pepper to it.
Wow.
And then what you see on top is a slice of onions. I put it on top when I flip it so that it makes it give it that look. It's really good.
Mm.
If
So,
you
this
get it
is
up,
really not. This is not a bread substitute, though, right? This is like a whole meal. Like
it's
if you
a
want it.
meal.
Mhm.
Okay.
It's a
All right.
meal. Yeah.
So, what would you suggest for somebody who drinks coffee and they want to add bread? Would you suggest they use the almond bread that you showed before?
Yeah,
If they
if
can make it.
you're a coffee person, you could add that almond bread. And this one here too, you could add it because once you slice it up, it comes, you could pick it up like a pizza,
Pizza.
So
Yeah.
yeah, if you want
Mm.
to, you could
I
add
see.
it. And this one could be your lunch too. You make it, you could
Yes.
eat it, twice. And this one, once you take it to work and you warm it up, it's not, smells good, everybody. You could eat it right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So, Lady Salome, I think I would like you to just walk me through your day, like your breakfast, your lunch, your snacks in between, and your dinner, if you don't mind.
So most of the time, my week, on the weekends, everybody's home. So that one, no, most of the time I will eat breakfast. Mostly, I will skip breakfast, especially when I get into, in the 40s, perimenopause. Why? Because of the hormonal shift. It got to a point that my periods were getting really heavy. So once I read and I found out that with the intermittent fasting helps to shift the hormones. So I cut breakfast. So normally 16:8. So I will eat my first meal around noon. So like this cabbage that we showed, I could eat that with some avocado and maybe some tea. In the morning, even if I'm not eating, I could have tea without sugar. I could do that. Or I could do green smoothie with 2 eggs for the breakfast. And then after that, mostly you will not eat anything else until later on, dinner time. If I want to snack, most often I will love coconut, fresh ones. I do have some coconut at home sometimes, so I'll do that. or I'll do some nuts. And my favorites will be Brazil nut. Brazil nut, you don't eat a lot of it. Why is it that? Because Brazil nut have selenium in it and it supports the immune system. So especially around this time of the year, I do eat that. Brazil nut, you don't eat a lot, about 4 to 5 pieces at a time. If you love your pistachios, almonds, walnuts, all these things are also good source of omega 3s as we're talking today. So those you could use those as your snack. Avocados are also a good snack. And then maybe dinner time, I could do a stir fry, add some yam to it. Sometimes, maybe on weekends, once in a while, I could eat fufu. Some people will ask, "Do you eat fufu?" Yes, I do. If I feel like I want to eat it, I will eat fufu. But these days, I will make it. I blend my plantain and my cassava together, and I do it, and it comes out
Yep.
like that. I do it. And then also sometimes too, these days eggplants came and there was a lot of eggplants. So I came up with a recipe, So we do that and we eat that with an yam, plantains, and stuff like that. Yeah, yeah.
I see.
Okay.
That's very good. My goodness. Now she asked because we have known you for a while and you have kept your weight off so much. I mean, so many years, and these are some of the dietary tips that you have used. And so we just wanted our viewers to know that these things will work if we stick to them.
That's
And I'm happy that you are able to share those
Yeah.
things
The
with us.
reason why I asked is that a friend of mine who is trying to lose weight, I think the issue is she keep telling me that she doesn't get full when she eats such foods. She
okay.
doesn't feel full. So, what are the foods that will make you stay full for a long time, so that you are not eager to supplement it with rice, with the heavy carbohydrates?
So what I normally say is, once people hear that you're dieting, they think when you eat, you don't have to be satisfied. But that is not it. You don't want to overeat. But anytime at a meal, you have to be satisfied. That's why with Ezra Wellness, we do not count calories. Because in our food, what is the calorie of fufu? We don't know. So we can't count. But the bottom line is, eat until you're satisfied. That's what we go for. But my take is, make sure all the time the vegetable is more than your carbohydrate.
Mm.
So let's say you're eating yams, and normally you could eat 2 plantains and you have a big bowl of stew and you still could eat it, because the bottom line is you're better off eating in one meal than trying to reach in between, because anytime that you eat again your blood sugar will peak, and then it's really hard to keep the weight down, because when the sugar peaks and your body don't need it, it goes into storage. So that is the thing. So you tell her that she should eat. And that is why we're talking about oils today. Is great because a lot of people think that when they eat, they like non-fat stuff. When they go to the store and they're purchasing stuff, they want to go for like non-fat yogurt. Everybody thinks it's good. Non-fat this, non-fat that. Why? Because we think the fat has been removed, so it's good. But the problem is when they remove the fat, for it to taste good, it's replaced with something else.
Mhm.
So you're better off eating the full fat, because fat gives you satiate, it makes you satisfied.
That's right.
So at the end of the day, you realize that. And then at the end of the day, fat is the least effect on insulin. So your insulin don't peak that much and you're satisfied for a long period of time. So you will not be reaching for anything in between. Yeah.
Wow, my
Okay.
goodness.
Okay.
That is good. That is good. That's good. Now, I would also want to ask that you also have to be disciplined, though. Don't you think you have to be disciplined? Because for some people, they will never be full. If you say when you are full, you stop. My goodness.
They'll go second round,
Yeah,
third
I mean,
round.
I'm not full, so you keep eating. And how much
So you
salad can you
see,
eat to be filled? They will eat the wrong foods, you know?
and Doc, what happened is we eat for the nutrients in the food. Before we came on, we were talking about it. The reason why we could eat so much is that the food that we eat don't have the nutrients that we need. Let's take a bowl of rice and chicken.
Mhm.
It's carbohydrates and chicken. There is no vegetables that is giving you the minerals and the vitamins that you need. So you could eat a whole bowl of rice. you could eat another bowl
Yeah.
because you have not eaten to satisfy the vitamin and the mineral needs of the body. So the body is still saying, I'm hungry. Meanwhile, you're feeding it the wrong stuff. So if anybody is eating and they are eating a bowl of chicken, but they add a salad to it, eat your salad before you eat the rice. You will see how much you'll be able to eat. You cannot finish the whole bowl.
Mm.
But all the time, the way that we eat our food, we are so eager to eat our carbohydrates.
Oh,
We don't
yeah.
even want to look at it. They will say, I don't like vegetable. Nobody likes vegetable, but that is what is good for you. Nobody likes it. Let's
Your
face it.
cells like it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Your cells like the
nobody
veggies.
likes it. Yeah, even the whites that are here that we know that they were brought up eating veggies, they don't like it. They will always
Mm-hmm.
tell you, my mom used to force me to eat it. Now I don't eat it because mom know that that's what is good for you. So you'll be surprised if we eat the right food, you will not eat much
Mm.
because you satisfy the nutrient needs of the body. So the body will say, yes, I'm done. Yeah.
My goodness. My goodness. I think we have come to an hour almost of our show,
Oh
and
boy.
I wish we could still keep going because time is going very fast. Now, let's see what else. I think we are about to finish. Yeah. So if anybody has a question, don't forget. I know somebody, actually my brother, he said very deep before. And I hope he's not just saying very deep, he's going to eat right from now. All right. So if you have any questions, you can put it in the comment section and we will follow up no matter when you watch it. Lady Salome and we are going to keep an eye on it and also make sure you share it to your folks that may not be watching today so that we will all get the benefit together. Next week, God willing, we are going to zoom into another area of our cholesterol talk. Remember, we are in season 3 where we are talking about cholesterol and your health. And today and last week, we have focused on diet. Next week, we are going to shift gear into exercise and stress and probably other lifestyle kind of issues that will affect your cholesterol and your heart health. So don't forget to tune in same time and ensure that we can do that for the time. In the meantime, we also want to just wait a little bit and see. Let's see this. I think I have a share to share. Lady Salome, is this your book?
Yes, sir.
All right, let me see if I can post this right now and show our people. But before I do that, what are your last minute um, things that you would like to leave with viewers? People who are struggling not just to lose weight, but struggling with diet and being, staying healthy. Some people have cholesterol issues. They don't know. They've taken medications. Nothing is working. What is your advice for people like that?
So when it comes to cholesterol, what I want to say is definitely cut out sugar because we are looking at fat today. But the one number one contributing factor of high cholesterol is sugar. And the reason why last week, Dr. and Dr. Gifty have talked about flour and food like that, we're talking about today with the hydrogenated oil in these foods. The other thing is these foods also tend to sugar in the body.
Mm.
Too much sugar will turn on the cholesterol making machine in your liver. You will make more. So definitely cut back sugar because let's look at this. When cholesterol in the 1980s, 1983 to be specific, your cholesterol level had to be 340 to 359. Then at that time, before they became concerned,
Mm.
cholesterol was above 359. In 1986, then it came to 319. In 1990, it was about if it was between 240 to 259, they were concerned. And then in 1990, later part, they said that if it's 200 to 219, dietary intervention. As we speak, cholesterol levels has come all the way down. They say even in the hundred.
Yeah.
Depending on your family history, they want people to go on medication. But still, heart disease is the number one cause of death. So the question is this still cholesterol? So if your cholesterol is higher, they've even put you on medication and it's not working. Cut back the sugar, cut back processed foods because you're doing yourself a favor. I know Dr. Otin will be talking about other factors to control when it comes to cholesterol. But today, since we are talking about food, I want you to concentrate, cut back the sugar. Be serious about this. We are not joking here. Because sugar will promote inflammation in the blood vessels and the cholesterol will go to work because it needs to come and clean up. It will go up. No kidding. So please make sure you're serious about these dietary changes. Stick to them. And then before I go, there is this one test that is out there that doctors will not recommend. It's called calcium score CT scan. Calcium score CT scan. It's a test that they check around your heart to see if there are actually cholesterol building up in your heart arteries. Why did I know about this? Because one of my clients, she normally would have cholesterol higher. Her doctor was really concerned. They want to put her on medication. She did not do well with the cholesterol meds. Females, most often females don't do well with most of the cholesterol meds. So then she went again, and the doctor said, "Oh, your cholesterol is high again." So I asked her for you to go do this test. Her CT score was zero because she was doing everything, she was eating healthy and stuff. And most of the time, the blood work, they have to trend it over a period of time because it's a snapshot in a moment. So if the person even have any stressful event going on in their life, your cholesterol to be high. So if your cholesterol has been high for a while, they put you on medication, you've done dietary changes, it's still not going down, and you're so worried, ask your doctor for that test. Calcium score CT scan. If insurance doesn't pay for it, as the last time I checked, it's $99. You could pay for it on your own. Check it. See if there is any plaques around your heart. So that if it's clean, then you could settle your mind. If it's not, then you have to get to work and see what you could do about that. So that was what I'll end with, Dr. Tay.
Oh my goodness, that was good. All right. All right. So, well, before you go, though, I want us to have you talk to us about Ezra Wellness and your book that is actually coming out or come out already.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, yeah, tell us what you do in Ezra Wellness and also what this book is about, and then we can let you go.
So with Ezra Wellness, we do have a YouTube channel. The name is Ezra Wellness everywhere on every social media platform. And what is Ezra Wellness? We went with Ezra because it's based on Ezra 7:10 in the book of Ezra. The Bible says, as for Ezra, he devoted himself first to study, to apply, and then to teach. So that is our goal at Ezra Wellness. We study these things out there, we apply them, and then we bring this knowledge to the forefront of our community because what is happening is most of us, we come here, we work so hard, but unfortunately, by the time that we go for retirement, a lot of people end up with strokes, heart attack. They never even get to enjoy their heart. We want to bring this in the front. I said, Dr. Ting and Dr. Gifty is on. We want us to get healthy so that when we get old, we'll be able to enjoy our hard earned money. So we don't want to forget. So this book is weight loss tip for beginners. If you're looking to lose weight, you've tried so many things. These advices here, you will not hear it from your doctor. Your doctor will not talk about sleep and weight loss. He wouldn't. He would just say,
They
go
don't have
count
time.
calories.
They don't have
They don't
time.
have time.
They are too busy.
As an African person, where do you start counting calories? You don't know what is calorie in yams and stuff. We don't know it, so we just say we give simple tips here, things that you want to concentrate on: your sleep, your poop, and all stuff like that. That all contribute to weight gain. So that is what it came out in this simple book. So it's on Kindle and it's also on Amazon. You could get a copy and check it out. Yeah.
My goodness.
Wow.
That
Big
is
release.
congratulations right there.
Congratulations, my sister.
Yes. All right. All right. All right. All right. So I think this is a good place to bring the show to a close, right? We
Yeah.
have exhausted almost everything. Again, your comments are still welcome. Your everything that you can share with us, we will take. But share the video with other people, especially if you are a husband or a wife and you're watching it alone. Trust me, if you go and start to do some of these recipes, your your spouse may disagree unless they have seen it. So you got to watch it together and follow through with the lifestyle changes and diet changes that will help you have a heart healthy, lifestyle. So I think that is about good. Auntie, Mrs. Adomako, we thank you once again for your time. I know Sundays are busy for us, and for you to leave your kids and your hubby and share this 1 hour with us is an honor. So we actually appreciate it so much. God bless you for coming on. And again, keep
All
an
right.
eye on the comment section in case anybody has specific questions for you. We will also do that, and then
You're
we
going
will,
to link her
yeah,
site too.
yeah, we will put your info also in the description of our YouTube channel's video. The Facebook, once it's posted, I don't know how to even edit and change anything there. But at least on the YouTube, we can put
Okay.
some info in the
Mm-hmm.
description of the video. So if you are watching on YouTube, or if you want to go to our YouTube channel, just search for Dr. Otin, one word, and you will see us, and you see our videos also there. We have actually done other videos with our lady Salomey on diabetes and also on erectile dysfunction. Oh, come on, man, we did that.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, we did. Erectile dysfunction, the foods that we need to eat. I also talked about diabetes. And so, great other information that are on our YouTube channel. You may not find it on Facebook. So, make sure you subscribe to Dr. Otin and also subscribe to Ezra Wellness and find more helpful information. With that being said, I will have you hang around while we close out. And we will say, Beloved,
Beloved, we
we
wish
wish above
above
all
all
things
things that
that you
you
prosper
prosper
and
and
be
be
in
in
health,
health,
even
even
as
as
your
your
soul
soul
prospers.
prospers.
Thanks for sharing your day
Thank
with us.
you.
God bless.